Earnhardt Jr., driver of the number 88 National Guard Diet Mountain Dew Chevrolet. You sit third in points. You clinched a spot in the chase this past weekend. Talk a little bit about coming into Atlanta.
Yeah, it's a fun track. Enjoyed coming here for a really long time, and just kind of looking forward to a little bit different surface, and like Jimmy was talking about, how kind of wore out this place is and how the tires go away real fast. It's definitely a different style of racing and something we do less and less of, and I think it's definitely welcome by most of the drivers out there, and it's a lot of fun. So just looking forward to that, and hopefully getting the car today, and the car is comfortable and we got good speed, and we'll see how it goes.
All right, we'll go ahead and start with questioning. We'll start with Ed, Jeff, Tom, and then Bob.
Ed Hinton, ESPN.com. Dale, two parts. One about you. In '04, you came here and were running really well on this racetrack, took kind of an aggressive chance to try to take charge of the chase, and ended up wrecking out of it. Part one is this a place where you can put together a combination like that again? Do you feel like you can come in here and get a handle on this place again like you did that time? And then I'll wait to ask this second.
Yeah, no, I always enjoy coming here because I feel like I can run really good. My results are up and down, but I always feel like I've never really come here and just been frustrated. I've always seemed like I've had pretty good cars and been have had good speed pretty much every time.
And the other part is here you are, for a change, pretty comfortably set in the chase and well set to the chase. And then you look at a guy like Kyle Busch, who's got a lot of talent but a lot of flat tires and that sort of thing. You've been there hanging by a thread or struggling to make a chase. Can you sympathize with a guy like that, or is that just kind of tough luck? It is what it is for him.
I can definitely know what it's like to be close, be just inside the bubble, with a couple strong guys behind you trying to get in or trying to get yourself in, having to outrun some fast guys. I mean, I definitely that's a tough situation, but you just got to show up and you run your best. If you feel like you put your best, I know that everybody that's in, everybody that's kind of right around that bubble, they know that if they put their best up there, they're gonna make it. That's all you can do is try to show up and do that. It is a lot nicer to be locked in and just kind of run these next two races and have fun doing it, and then try to learn some things while you can, as opposed to you're just sweating it all the way out to the end of the race at Richmond. That's tough.
All right, we'll go to Jeff Gluck.
Jeff Gluck from SBNation.com. When stuff like that happens last week with Tony and Matt with the helmet throw and all that stuff, do you get entertained as a driver as fans would, or since you're not involved in the situation, or is that something you see and you're just like, nah, I don't want to get, I don't want to enjoy that in case it's ever me in the same situation. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. I think you do get entertained. What's funny to the majority is going to be funny to a race car driver. Especially if you've had a history with either one of the guys involved in the deal, it definitely makes it a little more personal. So, it could be even. It doesn't have to be anything as extreme as that. I mean, we don't seek out, but we run across each other's quotes and you see things that happen in the Nationwide Series or the Truck Series, and yeah, we it's just as entertaining to me as it is to you or anybody else.
Hi, Dale. Tom Jensen, SpeedTV.com. 2 races left in the chase. Size up chances for your own team, and who do you think the toughest guys once the chase starts are going to be?
Well, these are 2 good tracks coming up for me. We're just, like I said, we've been working and putting ourselves through so much trying to get to this place we're in that I think we're going to just enjoy these next 2 weeks and just run hard, and they're almost like a non-points race for us. So we really get to kind of immerse ourselves in the competition of the race itself and just have some fun with no true repercussions. And I think the guys in the the guys with the guys that are favorites in the chase are the guys that have won championships, the guys that know how to do it. When you win a championship, it puts so much more confidence in yourself that you know how to do it. You know what it takes. You know the pace and the what you're going through, and I think it gives you an edge. I think it gives like Tony Stewart and Jimmy and those guys. I think that gives them an edge, having done it and having know they can do it. They're with a team that's capable of doing it. So I mean, you got to put those guys at the top of the list. I'm sure.
All right, go to Bob and then Marty.
Bob Hocker, Sporting News. Are you convinced that it was a cut that caused you to crash on Wednesday, and how hard was it? And do you have any concerns?
I don't have any concerns. It was really, really hard. Not a lot of fun, but and I don't really know exactly what happened to the tire. We looked at the tire best we could, and there was no the tire wasn't worn into the fabric. I mean, so it wasn't a wear issue with the tire, and the way the tire came apart was really odd. And that, from what I was told at the racetrack, looking at the tire with the guys, it seemed, from what I could tell, to be a real odd occurrence, not something that was easy to explain. So I hope Goodyear. I feel confident Goodyear's gonna bring a good tire there, and I don't have any worries about that particular race at Kansas, or having any tire troubles or anything like that. And it was just a tough little deal, and if they asked me to go tire testing tomorrow, at any track, I'd go right away.
All right, go ahead, Marty.
Marty Smith, ESPN. Dale, similar to what Jeff was talking about. 1979, Cale and Donnie got in a fight, right? Blew NASCAR up, sent it right into the mainstream. That hasn't waned. The fans still love it. Why do you think that raw emotion resonates so much with the fan base?
Well, because I'm sure everybody watching a race has somebody's neck they like to wring. That's kind of a way for them to, that's a way for they live vicariously through that emotion in some way. And there's probably a coworker or two they wouldn't mind, running their fist into his face. So I know, it's probably more likely than you imagine. But so I assume that they live vicariously through the, when you see, I do, when I watch football, I'm the same way. When I see what the players do on the field, I get into the emotional side of it when somebody's upset, or somebody, a player gets real physical and plays really hard. I mean, that's what you like to see, and I think the fans really enjoy seeing that out of the drivers. Especially, we're inside the cars, and we're limited to our physical emotions and physical body language driving the car. But when we get out and do things such as Tony did, it really, the fans really connect to that. They really connect to that emotion, and the driving down the road, somebody cuts you off on the highway. I mean, you'd love to shoot them a bird or something. So, and maybe you do, maybe you do.
Okay, we'll go to Melinda, and then the gentleman behind you.
Melinda Adams, ESPN. Just wondering what links you would go to help, your two other teammates get into the chase.
I'll do whatever I can to help them. Whatever. I don't know really what kind of examples I can give you, but whatever I can do to help them, in good taste to help them make the chase. I believe in being for the company first. I think that when I learned working at DEI that, you know, for the company to succeed, everybody had to be company first, and then worry about individualism and one team versus another team inside the company. That all came secondary to the company itself. And so, you know, if whatever can help the company, I'm all for that. And all 4 cars being in the chase would definitely be a great thing.
All right, go ahead.
David Close from CNN. The chase itself provides all certain kinds of challenges, one of which is Talladega. How much of a wild card race is that?
Yeah, that's all it is, really. It's a lottery. Everybody's cars are the same. You know, there's no way to really set yourself apart from anybody else mechanically. And it just comes down to, you know, the drivers, you know, making the right moves at the right time, and just kind of making, maybe you don't know what you're doing, but you just end up in the right place at the right time. But it's tough. You know, it's not quite the way it used to be, but you know, where you had guys that had faster cars, and those guys were the ones to beat. But you know, it's really a bit of a chess match. You know, really just kind of outsmarting the next guy, or partnering up with the right person at the right time. We learned a lot this year watching Matt and Biffle, and I think you know, everybody's kind of learning more and more with this package that we have, and the races are a little bit different every time.
All right, we're going to go Claire, Al, Jim Utter, and end with Brian Nelson. Go ahead, Claire.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. Apparently, there's a large amount of compelling data over at Junior Motorsports that Mike Davis has compiled about you, and whether you perform better with or without a beard, with a haircut, when Mr. H is at the track, when the Redskins are playing and win, presidential election. Have you seen that data and gotten a look at it?
I watched the 360 because Mike sent me an email because he wanted me to see it, so I didn't get bombarded. But you know, they come up with a lot of good ideas, and they're always. I think they do a really good job what they're given to work with.
You believe it? You believe it?
Oh well, no, not really. I don't believe in that kind of stuff.
All right, go ahead, Al.
Dale L. Pierce from Auto Week. A couple of weeks ago, Tony said that he thought the media should back off Danica, give her some room. There's too much pressure. But NASCAR keeps bringing her in every weekend. Have you ever gone to NASCAR, or has she ever asked you to ask them to give her a weekend or two off? That if they don't parade her in here, we're not going to go talking to her necessarily.
Yeah.
And she'll have a little bit of a break.
Yeah, I had no. I didn't know that was the kind of, you know. I didn't know that she's brought in here every week. Really? Yeah, I had no idea that was going on, or that was. She's never mentioned it to me. Never complained about it. She's been, from what I've seen, she's been a complete professional about it. She understands the situation she's in. She understands that it's unique, and I think she just, you know, she has no problem making herself available, and I haven't, you know, I think you guys have, you know, for the most part handled her with, you know, kid gloves. I think you've, you know, been. I didn't think that, you know, the media has been that tough. So, you know, it's an interesting, compelling story, especially the closer she gets to going into the Cup Series, and everybody anticipating that entire process. So I think that I'm not at all surprised by any of it, and I don't think she is either. I don't think she's bothered by it either. I think that she understands the situation, and she's a real professional about it.
All right, Jim, and then ending with Brian. Go ahead.
Jim Utter, Shaw Observer. Alluding back to a question Ed asked you earlier, kind of referencing that your 2 years that you came closest to having the best chance at a championship, 2003 and 04, were with DEI. I was wondering if there was anything that you recall from these seasons about what you got out of the cars, or what you felt with the organization that compares at all to how you feel today with your team at Hendrick Motorsports. Is it different? Is it similar in some fashions? Anything going in, like how you're heading into the chase?
Yeah, it's different. I think that our cars are more competitive. I think this is a better opportunity for me to win the championship this year over those 2 years. I recall in 04, I didn't realize that I had a shot at winning the title until I had lost it. you know, I didn't realize just how good an opportunity I had until it was too late. And we wrecked here, and then we broke the rear end gear at Martinsville, and once we got to, probably about, once we got about a week from Homestead, I was thinking, wow, I really let that opportunity slip right through my hands. So I don't know what we could have done about the rear end gear, but the rate, I definitely second guessed what happened. I definitely second guessed what happened here and what I could have done differently to finish the race and not lost all them points. But yeah, I don't think I was as smart and understanding what my situation and opportunities were at that point in my career. And like I said, I don't think I realized what opportunity I had at winning the championship till it was too late. And now I think I'm better suited mentally to put together 10 good races behind the wheel and not make any mistakes and maximize our chances to get the most points we can every week.
All right, go ahead, Brian.
Brian Nelson, Motor Racing Network. Al asked about Danica. Marty asked about the fights. But what's different about NASCAR is that unlike other sports where people grow up playing baseball or football or basketball, the average fan may not know much about motorsports other than the personalities. And so NASCAR is a personality-driven sport. How does that weigh on you as a competitor that the fans are engaging you as a personality first and foremost?
Yeah, I don't think that we even think about that or consider that, or I know that what made the sport popular when I was young were the colorful drivers, how Bobby Allison was different from Darrell, or how Darrell was different from Dad. And that's what was interesting to me, was knowing them people driving the cars and knowing how they're, one guy was more brash or more boastful, and then you had one guy that was quiet and humble. Knowing those kind of dynamics before they get in there and race, that really made it interesting, more so than just seeing cars go and looking at numbers and sponsors. So I know that and I think we all realize that that's kind of our bread and butter when it comes to the fan base. That so I think when we make ourselves available and put ourselves out there, commercials and whatever they want us to do, and trying to be trying to be as open as we can be, and let the fans decide who they like the best. But I don't think we really think about it that much. Really don't get that deep into the discussion about it. You just go about your business. I try to just be myself and let chips fall where they may.
All right. Thank you, Dale.
All right.